So I'm going to introduce a new company that my colleagues and I have started called Menimo. And I think the way that it makes the most sense to do this is to start with a TechCrunch article. Everything starts well with a TechCrunch article. So a couple of months ago, early May, TechCrunch published this article, and I like the photo in the article. I think it's illustrative of what I want to talk about. So people talk about Android, and they talk about fragmentation in the Android marketplace. And this is just a small sample. So there's a company in Hong Kong called Animoca. They make Android games. And these are all of the devices they test on when they publish a game to Google Play. So that's probably 3 or 4 dozen different devices. It's somewhere between 20 and 50 grand worth of devices. And that's a tiny fraction of the total number of devices that Android runs on. There's something like 4,000 of them. And so we have this kind of problem as Android developers. We have to make our stuff run everywhere. And the budget that it would take to have that, which is just a small slice of the whole Android market, would be huge. And most of us don't have that kind of budget. So that's the problem Menimo solves. And so essentially Menimo is a project that takes all that stuff that's on the table, takes every Android configuration you can think of, so every operating system version, every screen resolution, every screen density, it pulls it all off that table, puts it in the cloud, and it makes it accessible from your browser. So as a developer, you can develop directly to this cloud-based Android system, and you can pick your poison. If you need to look at it on an old operating system version with a small screen or a current operating system version with a current screen, all of the above. There are dozens and dozens and dozens of combinations. And so I think it's nice to demo. I mean, this is mini demo after all, instead of talk. And so what I want to do is I want to role play a little. So I'm going to, not that kind of role play. I'm looking for Kurt Prinz somewhere. Sorry. It's always nice when you pick an individual from the crowd and then you make an inappropriate comment about them. Moving on. So what we're going to do is we're going to essentially pretend we're the company Dropbox. We've created a new version of our Android app, and we have a small group of folks, maybe it's called 500 of our power users, that we always send out our updates to. And so we send out our update to them first. They're going to do some kind of last-minute screening on it, and it comes back to us, and they found problems. And the thing about Android development is that you never have problems that apply everywhere. You have problems that apply to whatever particular flavor of Android you're working on. So hypothetically, let's say that we've got someone on this $79 Virgin mobile device. It's a small screen running a fairly new version of the operating system. We've got a few folks on these old My Touches that T-Mobile sells. They've got a mid-sized screen. And then we've got some folks on the latest and greatest in the Samsung Galaxy S. So we get bug reports back, and now we have this problem. We don't have these devices, but we need to be able to look through the lens of these devices and basically say, what does it look like when I run it on these systems? And so that's what Menimo does. And so I'm going to show that to you. But I want to turn this into a little bit of a contest. This is a little bit like NASCAR, right? You stand up here and hopefully we don't crash. If we crash, it's entertaining for you. So I want to add a little bit of a flavor to this. I'm going to race my colleague Pete here. So we're going to do two things. We're going to do one thing 2 different ways. We're going to look at how we would solve this problem, how we would be able to test on devices that are like this using the traditional Android toolkit. So Google provides some tools. Then we're going to look at what's it like when you use Menimo. And so let's get into that. So what I essentially want to do is create 3 emulators. I want to create 3 kind of devices that look like these things. And so my colleague Pete here is going to bring up all the Android tools, and we're going to have a race. And you notice he's already working. And I'm standing up here talking. So I'm probably not that bright because I should probably be trying to win this race. And so that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to go into my web browser. I'm going to log into Menimo, and I'm going to drag and drop my Android app into the cloud. And up it goes, and now I've got it here in my browser. So normally when someone wants to look at this, what they'll do is they'll create a virtual device. It's called an Android emulator. And when they do that, there's a lot of configuration. You got to pick all the screen sizes and so on. And because there are these thousands and thousands of combinations, you don't have enough, you don't, as an individual developer, have enough disk space, and you haven't set up all these thousands of combinations. Menimo does. So we have all of the combinations of both screen size and operating system that you can have. And so when it's time for us to do some work, I had mentioned before that we're going to launch it on a small screen, the one that looks like Virgin. That Virgin Venture phone. Click on the browser, brings up an actual running Android emulator. This is not a screenshot. This is real deal. So I can use my mouse like I would touch the screen, and I can interact with the phone just like you would with a normal phone. And in fact, I'd taken the liberty of having it load up Dropbox, and so I can say, okay, well, let's just take a look at this Dropbox app, because we're trying to do some bug tracking on that. And here you go. It's running it in the browser. It took me 10 seconds to do that. Pete's still working. So he's got, oh boy, he's got three of them running. That's sort of a problem. I might lose the race, so I better get another couple of these things started. And we'll launch that one to do our mid-sized screen one, and we'll launch the third one. And there we go. We're running all three of these. And so what we've essentially done is taken all the hard work of creating any Android device, moved it into the cloud, made them instant. The off-the-shelf tools still haven't booted. You can't do the work. When you're the last presenter before going to get drinks, you all want to go get a drink. We can get a drink faster thanks to Menimo. So we've basically taken... So we've taken the Android device, we've put it in the cloud, we've made it accessible. Developers can use it just like they would use a normal emulated device. QA people can use it. It's there. This is the first public showing of it. We finished it this afternoon, actually. So thanks very much. Enjoy your drinks, and come chat with us if you're Android people. Thanks.